Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, they're gonna have a fun, unexpected video for you guys today because I'm doing a follow-up on the Panzer Dragoon Saga PC port. That is because the developer Yazor sent me over new builds as well as footage showing the current status of the project. And to say that this is night and day better than the last time we took a look at it would be an understatement. Last time I did a video on this, it was basically running at maybe like 4 to 6 frames per second. Now you can see here it's definitely running a lot smoother and a lot less crash prone. And that definitely is amazing, as I would say when I talk about gaming recomps, PC ports, and decomps, one of the #1 most requested games to get a PC port is Panzer Dragoon Saga, because so many consider this to be one of the best Sega Saturn games of all time and one of the best JRPG games of all time. That means there's definitely demand out there for it. So Yazor sent over this footage as well as the build to show where the project currently is, and we can talk about where we hope it goes. If we get far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But right off the top, I will say the frame rate here is way smoother than the build we talked about previously. This feels like it's maybe getting close to 60 frames per second in spots, but of course it definitely still is a complete work in development project. And that's one of those things. I love showcasing stuff that isn't done yet, so you can get a really good idea of exactly how things are made. Because you will see here as an example, you're getting a lot more visible pop-in, and that's because it seems like some of the effects that would be rendered by VDP2 Unreal Sega Saturn hardware aren't incorporated here yet, because they would kind of, with a screen space effect, obscure a lot of the pop-in, because that was definitely something that happened a lot in the PlayStation 1, Sega Saturn, N64 era. Fog or other effects would basically keep the game player from realizing that the world was drawing in real time. Without those effects, you can definitely see the draw distance here, but it is fun because it kind of gives you an example of exactly how Panzer Dragoon Saga would run without VDP2 being incorporated. And again, as a work in progress thing, I hope next time we see a demo of this, we do see a little bit more of those VDP2 effects. What I really love, as this cutscene starts, you can actually see the polygons draw in real time. And before you leave the comment down below, yes, I know, Saturn uses quads, not polygons, but they're all kind of the same thing, so there's no need to relitigate that in the comments. A polygon is a polygon unless it's a quad. It also happens to be a polygon all the same. And as we jump into this area here, it's so fun to see these levels without their effects, and to see just how much better the textures and overall geometry can look, because you really don't have any sort of wiggling around in the polygons. And you'll see here you even have the debug menu, so you can kind of play around with what you're seeing in game. But this is definitely a very promising project, and it makes me think I would love to see more Sega Saturn games ported over to PC. Think of something like this for Burning Rangers or any of the other Sega Saturn exclusive games that never really left that platform. Because even though the Sega Saturn was not a success in North America, I still love the console and consider it to be one of the best hidden gem libraries out there. You leave me a comment down below because you know I love asking this question. If you could snap your fingers right now and make one game get ported to PC from Sega Saturn, which one would it be? I'm going to go with another Bomberman title. I'm going to say Saturn Bomberman with online multiplayer support. I'd love to be able to play that game in a modern PC version with some sort of online server where you can actually play against other people in the world. But as we go further into the world of Panzer Dragoon Saga here, again, the #1 thing you're going to see is just how many visual upgrades this version has, even if it is missing some of the effects. All of those walls of the canyon are stable, all of the textures look improved as well. It really is just, in some instances, a prettier version of what you would see on Sega Saturn. And don't get me wrong, the Sega Saturn version of this game is pretty in its own right and absolutely has that Sega Saturn vibe going on. And as we load into the tunnel, this new build definitely a lot more stable than the last one, because these are areas where it would crash. Now this is definitely something you're not going to sit down and play today. It is not finished, because don't forget this game came on multiple discs, and right now we're just dealing with disc 1 stuff. But as a proof of concept of porting games from the Sega Saturn to PC, the same way we see on the N64 static recomps and PC ports, and even on the Xbox 360 recomps, it is working, it is doable. We just have to wait more time to see if Yazor is going to finish this one up and give support. Put a soundtrack sample one time, and I'll be right back with more.
だ。これがどういう意味か分かってるのか。フレイメン間よりの返信確認できません。
So you have music, you have sound effects, you have the voice-over acting as well. I would also say they're about 98% correct. There is a tiny bit of static in that sound sample that I don't recall being in the original Sega Saturn version of the game, but if you do remember that, leave me a comment down below. But you'll see here the text on screen, all of the different dialogue being read to you, it is discernible, and the font looks exactly as it should, and is displaying without any graphical corruption. So as far as this getting ported to PC is concerned, it really is showing that the underlying structure or skeleton of this port is doing a really good job. It is rendering the overall graphics, you're getting the audio out, you're getting all of the controller input in, and that in and of itself, standing that up to the point in time where you can even interact with it and quote-unquote play it, and that is not an easy lift whatsoever. That really is the thing. A lot of times getting a game from actually just existing to booting on another platform is half the work, and the other half of the work is improving everything else. So this is definitely in a lot better shape than you would expect it to be based upon the footage, because again, getting the game to execute is really the quote-unquote hard mode of things. You will see here that there seems to be a band of graphics missing between the underwater section there and the actual cavern, but it is still discernibly Panzer Dragoon Saga, and that really is a big deal. But I want to live in a future where we're able to play Panzer Dragoon Saga in widescreen with 60 frames per second or better performance, and maybe even the ability to put some mods in, because as soon as something like this is finished up and playable by everyone, you're going to hear a bunch of people talking about HD texture packs, whether 1080p or 4K, and even though those things take a long time to make, it would be a fun future for something like Panzer Dragoon Saga to have those as well, but just don't expect them. Be surprised if they do come. And this is just a ton of fun, because as I said in the previous video, as a kid, I was an idiot and traded in my complete and mint condition, because I kept things really nice even as a kid, copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga into EB Games for like $5 to buy something on Dreamcast. I really wish I had that copy, because now it is a 4-digit game all day long and twice on Sundays. And I get that most people don't really care for Sega Saturn emulation unless they have a front end. That's why I've been getting a lot of positive feedback on Amir videos. And if you have Mr. FPJ, totally 100% playable from start to finish there as well. But let's go into the second of two soundtrack samples a little bit early, because that's where the audio is. Not every single example and scene here is going to have audio. But 45 seconds, I'll be right back to show you more and say what I hope to see in the future. I mean, it's not the most audio, but it is audio, and it is a great example of what you can do here. And with the debug menu, kind of playing around with the event viewer as well, you can see just how much of Panzer Dragoon Saga is currently working on PC, and hopefully how much more we'll see in the future. Because this is a game, if you played it, you know it and you love it, and if you haven't played it, you're absolutely missing out. But I totally get there's so many different retro games out there that you can play, and maybe going back to real Sega Saturn hardware, or maybe going to Sega Saturn emulation, just doesn't 100% do it for you. Something like a PC port of Panzer Dragoon Saga, I feel like would bring a lot more people to the party when it comes to actually playing this game and enjoying it, and that definitely is exciting to me. So Yazor is definitely doing an amazing job on porting a Sega Saturn game to PC, and hopefully something like this kicks off a big push into Sega Saturn decomps, recomps, and PC ports. Because again, we're seeing a ton of them on the N64 side of things, but that's because there is a whole tool set that aids developers in actually making those recomps. On Sega Saturn, it's basically no man's land, so a developer like Yazor has to basically create this stuff as they go along, inventing it out of nothing and making it work. So the fact that this works as good as it does really shows that that overall dedication to getting these things done has been working out, and we're all the better for it. But again, you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, Panzer Dragoon Saga PC port, stoked about it or not? I would be curious. And if you've never played Panzer Dragoon Saga before, should you wait for a potential PC port? You totally could, or you could just jump in and start playing the game today, because it is definitely in my top 10 Sega Saturn games of all time list, and I say top 25 RPGs of all time as well. But short of that, we are done. Hope you enjoyed the video. You can see a little bit of the HUD here, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.